John Fredericks Radio Network. Joining us now, Sheriff David Clarke. It's like our weekly Sheriff David Clarke fix. You got to have it or you get the shakes. Sheriff Clarke, AmericaSheriff.com. Also a senior advisor, WeBuildTheWall.us. Hey, Sheriff, great to have you, man.
Thanks. The earth was shaking last night, that's for sure.
I know. What did you see this coming, Sheriff?
No, seismic shift. But one thing that I've been saying all along, and I'll still say it, is, after the first three primaries, I said, everybody slow down. There's only been three primaries. There's 47 to go. And, a week ago, I had Joe Biden on the mat, and I said if he may be bowing out after Super Tuesday, and then all of a sudden this scheme was put into place by the Democrat operatives to get people to bow out and coalesce around Biden, and it worked. I doubted that it would work. Everybody was calling Bernie Sanders the front runner, and all of a sudden they're calling Joe Biden the front runner. I still think we have a long way to go. There's a lot of delegates that are still up for grabs, and I just don't count these things out this early.
But Sheriff, do the math, okay? There's no rationale for the Michael Bloomberg for president campaign to go forward. He spent $500 million. He's going to win 25 delegates. He didn't win a state. I said when this whole thing started, he's got to win a state on Super Tuesday. Maybe Virginia got 9%. Maybe Tennessee got 15%. Maybe Colorado got 18%. To go forward, it becomes now ridiculous, right? For him to be spending this money to go nowhere. Elizabeth Warren, you finished third in your home state. You get beat by a guy that spent $10,000. Now you're getting mocked, right? That's mockery. Done. So it's Biden, Sanders, and you look at these states coming up. If Sanders loses Michigan on Tuesday, it's over. He's going to get trounced in Mississippi. Georgia's a standalone primary coming up. Biden's going to win Ohio. Biden's going to win Illinois. I just hate to be fait accompli, but my grand plan of going to Milwaukee and brokered convention and, all hell breaks loose and there's riots in the streets, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I didn't think a brokered convention was going to happen. They were talking about that in 2016 or 2015 with the GOP. I knew that wouldn't materialize. Yeah, Warren's done. There's no doubt about that. I was happiest that Bloomberg took it on the chin. He took it in the shorts last night. Spent all that money, but the arrogance of Bloomberg, you're predicting that, and others are predicting that he'll drop out. Some are saying as soon as maybe before noon today. But his arrogance won't let him. His arrogance will not let him. He cannot look in the mirror and say to himself, you know what, you lost. He can't look in the mirror and say to himself, the American people have no use for you. So, we'll see.
If you put it that way, Sheriff.
He throws money around like you and I throw peanuts around at a bar, right? So it'll be interesting. But I'm glad that I'm happiest that Bloomberg is up. Biden will present a tough out in November. Let's face it.
He offers nothing.
He still doesn't have a vision. He hasn't presented a vision. The guy is dangerous in that, he's not all there. You heard him over the last couple of days. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That thing that he said. So, but they're going to prop him up. It's going to be a, weekend at Bernie's, no pun with Bernie Sanders. They'll prop him up. And that's why I say be careful of who we have to watch. When I say be careful, we have to watch who he selects if he wins the nomination. I'm still not saying this thing's over, but who he picks as a running mate, because I don't think Joe Biden can last 4 years. And then you got this 25th Amendment thing coming. I wouldn't put it past the Democrats because they scheme to prop up Joe Biden, make him the candidate, find a vice president that they all want. Maybe Joe Biden doesn't even last the first term, and then they get the person in there that they want.
Wow. They do scheme. The other thing that I'm always jealous that the Democrats do that we never do is their uncanny ability to rally around one thing quickly. I mean, the Republicans can't do that, right? They have an uncanny ability to do that. Like whenever they get a front runner, it's over, right? I was thinking the other day, Clinton won his first primary in Georgia. It was like his 6 weeks in, right? And then it was over. He just won everything. It's like the same thing with John Kerry. Kerry won Iowa, and then he started to win everything. They get behind one candidate, the candidate wins, and then everybody coalesces behind it. So, but yeah, I mean, this weekend at Bernie's, I think their biggest risk is we don't know what crazy thing Joe's going to say or can even really function until November, right?
Yeah, they're going to have to hide him much like they did Hillary Clinton in 2016. Kept her out of the public view. She wasn't well, and didn't want America to see that. They'll have to start doing that now. You'll see less and less of Joe Biden in public. You'll see less and less of Joe Biden off the cuff, on the stump. Just stopping anywhere, and when someone sticks a camera and microphone in front of his face, they'll start to hide this guy now because he'll become his own worst enemy. But that's what they do. That's what the Democrats do. And, keep in mind that Biden does well with several important demographics for the Democrats. Biden does well with the black vote. Look last night. Look at South Carolina. He does well with organized labor. He's always been a big supporter of organized labor. They've always liked him. So that's why I said he's not going to be easy out in November. And all this, especially the way he's really getting the black vote out in the states last night in the South, in areas they're going to have to win, and like Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, where he can get the black vote out. And I want people to stop all this crazy talk about President Trump getting 30 to 40% of the black vote with Joe Biden in. It is not going to happen.
What is Trump's ceiling with black voters if Biden is there? Because what Biden's going to do, he's going to get Obama behind him, right, obviously, and they're going to invoke the Obama-Biden coalition, and Obama's going to be campaigning with him hand in hand to bring the Obama administration back, if you will. Trump got 8% of the black vote 2016. What's his ceiling 2020?
I don't know, John. I really don't. I think that the president needs
but it's
to
not
keep
25%.
chipping away. No, it's not 25%. I'll be shocked. I'll be floored. And I hope I'm wrong, but
10.
I don't think I'm going to be.
Yeah. With a Biden candidacy, it's 10, 12 max.
Yeah, probably. And then don't forget, Biden's going to take a black running mate. That you can etch that one in stone. Mark the tape today. He knows it. He's thrown out a few names. He's going to have a black running mate. They cannot go into this thing like they did in 2016 with an all-white ticket. It's just not going to work. So, I would, if I'm, if I was in the inner circle in terms of running the campaign, and I'm not running the campaign, I'd be talking about this stuff today. What are we going to do to, in November to make sure that these key demographics that depressed in 2016, blacks didn't come out for Hillary in 2016. They'll come out for Joe Biden. And so you have to have a plan B. You have to have some sort of defense plan to, where can we pick up some votes here, there. That's what happened in 2016 with the President Trump, is he went out and found voters in some key states. That man that as it was said, the man who was left behind, or the voter who was left behind. And Trump didn't leave him behind. So that's going to be important in November. But trying to figure out a way to, keep blacks at home, make them stay home, make them say to themselves, hey, we're not happy with this guy, Joe Biden, and therefore we're going to sit out like we did in 2016. But I'll tell you what, if he picks a black running mate, that's not likely to happen.
So who do you see him choosing?
I'm scared of some of the names that he's thrown out there. Stacey Abrams, that loser from Georgia. He's thrown out Kamala Harris. I think the only person he hasn't thrown out, the name he hasn't thrown out, is Michelle Obama, and I wouldn't put it past him to take Michelle Obama.
Yeah, could be Michelle Obama, could be Stacey Abrams, could be Cory Booker, but I don't think so. They got to run the identity table. So
probably
be
a woman.
Female African American could be Michelle Obama. I mean, Biden, Michelle Obama presents all kinds of issues for us.
Oh yeah,
not good.
Time. So that's why I keep telling people, put the party hats away, put the balloons away, put the cork back in the champagne and put your battle gear on. You know, we had a good time chuckling and laughing.
Back into it. No, look,
yeah, but
you gotta battle now in your hands, right?
Big time.
Sheriff David Clarke with us. Sheriff Clarke, $64,000. Does President Trump stick with Mike Pence as VP?
It's that simple.
He has to.
I think he has to. I don't know why he would jettison him. I think that would send a signal to the base that, you know, things are not working well, and you know that talk always comes up. Remember, the same thing happened in the Obama years. It was being suggested he might drop Biden at his reelection, and that stuff always comes up. They did it with George W. Bush. They said he might drop Cheney. That talk always comes up. But
they did
Mike
it with George
Pence
H. Bush,
saying
that he was going to get rid of Quayle.
Yeah.
So I mean, did it with Clinton, saying that he was going to drop Gore. So I mean, all of it always comes around every time in the second term. I really understand that Biden is going to be the nominee after today. I'm just saying this because I know it's early. There's a lot of votes to be counted. No math gets Bernie there because the only way Bernie is the nominee if he wins on the first ballot. That's not going to happen. He's got to get 1,600 or 1,700. That's not going to happen. If they go to a second ballot, super delegates, there's 550 of them. It's over. They're all voting for Biden. It's done. Biden's going to be the nominee. He's going to pick a VP, and we got a major battle on our hands. Major battle, and we got to put the shoulder to the wheel and start working now because this idea that, hey, Bernie's going to be the nominee, it's going to be a landslide, not going to happen.
Yeah, I going back to the Pence thing, I think Mike Pence, Vice President Pence, has served Trump well. I think he's provided a lot of stability, a lot of guidance, the things that we don't see because Vice President's behind the scenes. But really, tickets aren't made usually off of vice presidential picks. You know, it's kind of window dressing. For Biden, it might be a little different, but I'll tell you, to jettison Pence going into November, I just think it would send shockwaves that would really scare the base.
Yeah, well, the other thing is Trump, in order to be successful, absolutely needs 100% of the evangelical vote. He gets that with Pence. You drop Pence, they get shaking the knees, and who knows what happens. So I think he sticks with him and goes forward. But look, it's going to be a battle. I think Bloomberg's going to get out in the next couple of days, if not today. There's just no rationale to go forward. But look, he's got 80 offices, 2,500 people. You know, my fear is he says, okay, well, I'm going to keep the operation going, but it's going to be going for Biden, or it's going to be going for the Democratic nominee. And now we've got to overcome that. We'll see what happens, right?
Well, yeah, but Bloomberg's not that kind of personality. It's got to be him or nobody. I don't see that guy making himself subservient to, somebody else on the ticket here and really getting out and spending a lot of money and helping him win. He's arrogant. He's self-centered. It's got to be him or nobody. So if he drops out, I think it'll be the last that you'll hear of Bloomberg in terms of politics. So I don't know. Michigan will tell a lot, but all of these states will tell a lot. Sanders didn't do bad in Michigan in the Democrat primary. I think he won Michigan. So I'm still not counting him out.
No, he's got to win. Look, he's got to win Michigan. That was where he came back last time. He beat Clinton in Michigan. That was the story has it. That's when Bernie actually that night told his staff, told his campaign manager, you know what, I can actually win this thing. So that was the big victory that he had, was the Michigan victory. That's a win that he's got to have now on Tuesday. If he doesn't win Michigan, he's dead. After that, it gets tougher. Illinois, lose. Ohio, lose. Mississippi, lose. Georgia, lose. He's got to win Michigan. That's my...
Sure, but keep in mind, the thing that Sanders has is Sanders could take his toys and go home. And what I mean by that, he could run third party and really screw the Democrats because his followers will follow him. They will not get on board with Biden. They will not get on board with anything to do with the Democrat Party. They're not Democrats. They don't belong to that party. Bernie takes his followers and runs third party, or even if he doesn't run third party, let's say he just stays home, That's going to help President Trump.
Right. Right. All right, let's see. I got a couple text here to read. I got a couple of minutes. Corey in Williamsburg, Virginia says, Sheriff, surprising comment on Joe, reality check. What have Dems really done for blacks? I think Trump will roll out all kinds of black leaders, people released from prison, etc. I get what you're saying, Corey, but you got to look at the numbers yesterday. The percentage of African American voters that Biden got their backing and got them out in one day with no advertising. I mean, you can't just put that under the rug, right, Sheriff?
Yeah, you can't cherry pick a few things and think that that's going to make seismic shifts in the black vote. Corey's right there in terms of what have the Democrats done for the black community? What have they done for black voters? Nothing. But you know what? They still monolithically go to the poll on election day and they pull that lever for the Democrats. It's kind of, it's typical of voting behavior. And I don't know. This stuff about 25-30% of the black vote for Trump. Like I said, I hope so. I don't see it, and I'm being honest. I do not see it.
Well, Sheriff, honesty is the best policy, and thank you for being with us, Sheriff David Clarke, America's Sheriff, also Senior Advisor, WeBuildTheWall.us.